Okay, so we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Myself is Jashwant. So, as part of today's session, right? So, we would be covering about all of these topics, but I know like most of you are aware of some of these, but still, like for the benefit of others who doesn't have any knowledge on the data, on the respective technologies and everything, right? So we can cover it at a high level so that they'll be able to understand. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to understand before, for us to learn about this course, right? So all of, I mean, whatever the technologies that we cover as part of this course, so all of them are relevant to the data. Okay, so what is data? So it's important for us to know about data, right? So what type of data that we are talking about, and where is it coming from, and how do we store that data, and how do we use that, and okay. So all of these things we need to understand at a high level. Okay, for example, like let's talk about data. Okay, so data is nothing but like an information that comes from various applications. Okay, so example, like you have online applications and offline applications, right? So you have Facebook with Twitter, and you have Amazon, Flipkart. There are, and you have like various loan applications, insurance applications, right? So where the customers or the relevant sales reps will be entering a lot of information relevant to the customers or relevant to the product or relevant to any information, right? So all of that information will be stored in the application. Okay, and also sometimes what happens is, if for any uh, business, right, so if they want to run their business for any sales that are happening, they need to store that data. So if you look at the local shops, right, so if they want to maintain the sales that are happening in their shops, right, so they actually store that data in somewhere in the uh, papers or somewhere in the Excel, or they will be having their own software applications and everything, right? So there they would be entering a lot of information. Okay, so which means there will be online applications which will be where there is a inflow and outflow data. There are offline applications as well, where for if you for any local shops, right, so they would be maintaining their own software applications. Okay, so all of this data has to be captured into various systems. Okay, so some may store the data in our databases. Okay, database is nothing but like a software, so which will help, which will store the data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, that we will cover later. So how, so but database is one of the way to store the data, and some may store the data in a files. Okay, so why do they store the data, and what is the reason? So there are two reasons. One is for operational purpose, and other one is for an analytical purpose, right? So what is meant by operational purpose? So for example, like if you take Amazon as an example, right? If you book any order, okay, so where there is no stock available, right? So once you book an order, so what happens is that order may go to the respective vendor. For example, like if you buy a Dell laptop, okay, so the laptop is not on stock, right? So then the request will be sent to Dell. So they'll be manufacturing that product, then they'll send that product back to Amazon and they deliver it back, right? So that point of time, so they need to maintain that data somewhere in the system. Okay, so that is operational purpose. The way you are maintaining the data for the operating your business, right? So that is called operational system. Okay, so sometimes what happens is, it's not only for operational purpose. You may use the data whatever you store, right? So that data may be used for different analytical purpose. What is meant by analytics? So if you want to grow your business, okay, so for example, like this year you got some profit, you are running a business, this year you got some profit like $100. You may need to increase that profit, you may need to increase the customers, right? You may need to increase the product quality. Okay, all of these things has to be analyzed, right? So in such scenarios, right, you need to maintain all the historical information, historical data. So which means whatever the sales happening for last 7 years, 10 years, or 5 years, right? You may need to maintain that data in some system. Okay, so that whatever, wherever you use that information, right, for various purposes like growing your business, So that is called analytical purpose. Okay. So operational purpose, it is to run your business, and analytical purpose, it is to grow your business. Okay. So to do all of these things, right, even to operate your business, even to analyze your business, to make a key decision, right, you may need to store the data, and you may need to process the data from one system to another system, and you may need to report the data. Okay. So for example, if I go to next slide, so here you have an Amazon application. Okay. So wherein you have whatever the sales, whatever the customer, whatever the sales information, and whatever the information that is entered by the customer. Okay. Like customer may enter the customer details, right? Like phone number, email address, delivery address, and all of those things, right? So all of the details will be stored in the backend system. Okay, which is, these are some of the database platforms that we have. Okay, so the data will be stored in the backend system, whatever is happening on the online application, and that data will be processed for another system. Okay, so to process the data from one system to another system, you are using a technology. Okay, and from there the data goes for, so sometimes the data may come through files as well. Okay, so what you see here is a files. Okay, so the data may come through files, and you are also processing that data into another system. Okay, and finally, once you process the data into another database system, right, so you finally use the data for reporting purpose. Okay, so if you look at, if you observe, like some of the companies may be announcing their results or the pie charts and bar charts, right? So your pie charts and bar charts will give you the high level picture of how your business is doing. Okay, so here if you look at, there are two different type of systems. One is, see, even this is also storing the data. This is also storing the data, and the data which is there inside this, right? So this picture, right? So that data will be used for operational purpose. Okay, so any operational purpose in the sense like, as soon as the sale is happened by the customer bought something. Okay, so we will have to look at that order from the database perspective and operate accordingly. Okay, but the system that you see over here, this is mainly used for analytical purpose. Okay, but your data is storing in a one system. Initially, something is placed, right? So whatever sales happening on the online application will be stored in one backend system. But how do you process that data from here to here for doing the analytics? You are using this system for analytical purpose. Okay, how do you process the data from here to here? So that's where we have a technology called Informatica Power Center. Okay, this is called as a ETL technology. Okay, so ETL is nothing but like, it will extract the data. ETL stands for extract the data from this system, and transform, which is nothing but like based on the business requirement, we will apply the business rules, and we finally load the data into the another system. Okay, so Informatica Power Center is one of the technology, okay, that will be used for data processing. Okay, and here if you look at the different platforms, right, data storage platforms, which is Oracle, and you have Teradata, and there are various database applications as well. Okay, so those are used for data reporting purpose, sorry, data storing purpose. Okay, you have softwares for data storage, and you have softwares for data processing. And if you look at on the right hand side, right, so whatever the data you stored in this system, right? Okay, so that data will be used for reporting purpose. Okay, so to do this kind of reporting, to visualize, so this is called the visualizing the data which is there on your data warehouse database, right? So for this, we will be using the different technologies. You might have heard about like Power BI, Oracle Business Intelligence, right? There will be a Tableau, right? So there will be various reporting tools. Okay, so those reporting tools will be used to visualize the data which is there inside the database. Okay, it says visualizing your data in a simplest way, right? So by looking at in one picture itself, you can say like how your business is doing. Okay, so you have a tools for storage, you have a tools for data processing, and you have a tools for data visualization. So that is what we are talking about in the previous slide. Okay, so data storage, you have some tools, and data processing, you have some softwares, and data reporting, you have some softwares. Okay, so any questions until this point? From anyone?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about now let's differentiate what is meant by BI and what is meant by OLTP and what is meant by data warehouse. Okay, so this is a sales application. So whatever the data that comes from your sales application, the backend system is called as your OLTP system, which is nothing but like online transactional processing system. Okay, and ETL that we already discussed, right? So ETL is nothing but like it extracts and it transforms, it loads the data into another system. Okay, and the other one is the OLTP, OLAP or data warehouse. What is meant by data warehouse? The system, the data which is there in the system, if that data is used for analytical purpose, okay, and you are building a database system for doing the analytics, right? That system is called a warehouse. And if you are using the data only for operational purpose, which is coming from your front-end application directly, and that system is called OLTP. Okay, and finally, you are doing the reporting. Okay, so when it comes to BI, BI stands for business intelligence. Okay, to build this entire architecture, you may be using different technologies and you may be using different methods to build this entire ecosystem, right? So that whatever the technologies and whatever the tools that you use for building this entire ecosystem is called business intelligence technologies or tools. Okay, so this is what is defined here. OLTP, online transaction processing system, so stores transactional data comes from sales application. Okay, and you have ETL tools, and you have LAPR, DWH. Okay, and business intelligence. Business intelligence technologies, methods used for decision making to grow the business. Okay, so there will be some technologies that refers to ETL tools for data processing, storage platform, for reporting platforms to visualize the data as required. Okay, so this is all about at a high level what is BI, what is OLTP, and what is data warehouse. Okay, so if you don't have any questions on this, okay, we can talk about the next things. So to build this entire ecosystem, right, you need to have a platform. In the sense, for example, like if you want to install, so if you want to store some data in Excel itself, right? Okay, so what you will have to do is in your laptop, you need to install Microsoft application. Okay, with that, you'll be getting Excel, and inside that, you'll be entering the information. So which means for any application, if you want to install, you need to have one hardware in your laptop case, like that's your laptop in which you will be having operating system. And on top of that, you'll be installing the software. So likewise for any software, like for that matter, right? If you want to install any software, you need to have server or hardware. Okay, on top of that, there should be storage or memory allocated for that. Okay, and on top of that, you need to install the operating system, right? For any software application. I'm just not talking about one application, okay, one software. Okay, so and also you need to have softwares. So you, as I said, like you will be using, once you have all these prerequisites, right, for you to build this ecosystem, on top of that, you'll be installing the database softwares and ETL softwares, okay, and or reporting softwares. And also once you build this ecosystem, okay, you need to maintain your software, right? So like you in your laptop itself, you may be getting some updates like Windows updates, software updates. You have to do it very frequently, like as long as there is an update, you need to do that. Okay, so even for these applications also, you need to build all of those things, right? So like you will be having software upgrades, hardware upgrades, operating system upgrades, and you also need some support whenever there is an issue with the any of the softwares or the systems, right? You need to have some support over there. Okay, so which means we are spending a lot of money over there, okay, to build this for just maintaining these activities, right? We are spending a lot of things over here. Okay, so So that's where like, so whatever you see here, okay, so Oracle, Teradata, and Informatica Power Center, right? So all of these are, for all of these softwares, you need to have this entire things has to be done. Okay, so this all are called as a on-premise technologies. Okay, on-premise technologies in the sense, uh, whoever owning this ecosystem, right? So that, so for example, like TCS is owning this ecosystem. They itself need to do all of these activities. Okay, so they need to recruit some resources and to do all of these activities. Okay, but we are spending a lot of money over there to just maintain all of your softwares and hardwares, right? So to come out of that, what we are actually doing is we are introducing new technologies which are on cloud. Okay, so basically, if you go with the cloud, right? Okay, you don't need to worry about the server and the hardware upgrades and operating system or software upgrades or no maintenance. Whatever you use, right? You just have to pay for that. Okay, so for example, like the same ecosystem that we have seen earlier, right? So if I just wanted to migrate it on cloud, okay, to save a lot of money for any company, right? So this is the actual ecosystem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this Informatica Power Center with a new ecosystem, so new cloud technology, which is IICS, Informatica Cloud. Okay, and also you're using some on-premise technologies where organization itself will be owning all the activities, right? So even that I'm going to migrating to cloud. Okay, so with that, what happens is with the cloud, the benefits that you see is all of this, right? So with the cloud, right, you don't need to worry about all of these upgrades. Okay, you'll be so. For example, like if you take Informatica and if you take Informatica Cloud and Snowflake, right? Snowflake is a one of the cloud database platform, okay, which is given as a service. Okay, so like you have Netflix, right? So where Netflix is given as a given software as a service, so which means you will be able to view the uh, like movies, right? So but you don't need to download there. Okay, whenever you want to see, you can just open Netflix and see the videos. But the storage and all is all maintained by Netflix itself. Okay, so it is not for you to watch that movie. So it is not occupying any space from your mobile or laptop perspective, right?
Yeah,
But
just
even,
one small
yeah,
note. The cloud also we need to, it's required for server, right? For need to loading for any for that, right? We need to watch the movie like that.
yeah. So cloud is also needs a server, but you are not. I mean, your organization is not going to maintain that server. Okay, Snowflake,
Okay.
yeah, Snowflake itself will be maintaining the all servers. Okay, so they, yeah, so we just need to use that as a service for
Okay.
store our data.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you.
so
Thank you.
even Netflix will have the server. Okay, but we are using that as a service. Okay, as a customer, we are Netflix is giving as a service to watch the movies, but we don't need to worry about the storage to store the movie, right? We don't need to worry about the hardware and everything. Okay, so likewise, Informatica is also same thing. Okay, Informatica is also given as a platform. So this is a platform as a service where you don't need to worry about all of the upgrades. Okay, for example, like today, if you look at Informatica Power Center, if there is any new version is coming in, you need to upgrade yourself. Like when you
Yes,
say
9 to
yourself,
10.
yeah. So for any software versions upgrade, right? You need to do that. But with the cloud, you don't need to worry about all of those things. Okay, so that's where like since we spend a lot of money over on these technologies, okay, so with the cloud, introducing cloud, right, we are coming out of this.
Okay.
We are saving a lot of money over there. So as part of this course, we are going to see how we actually use the Informatica cloud for data processing purpose, okay, and how we use the Snowflake for data storage purpose, okay. So some organizations may be storing their data on Oracle as a data warehouse, and some may be using Teradata. And so I mean, it's not only like if you ask me a question like whether this course will be helpful only for the project where we are going to use Snowflake as a target and Informatica Cloud as a ETL? No. Okay, so you can use Informatica Cloud to load the data into Oracle or Teradata also. But for the benefit of so Snowflake is an added advantage also along with the IICS. Okay, because things are moving to cloud as well. Even the data storage is also moving on to cloud. Okay. So any questions from anyone on this? Is it all clear?
Clear, Jeshwant.
So, yeah. So what are the prerequisites for you to learn this course? Okay, let's not worry about this. So you know what is basic knowledge on the data. So basically the way you store the data in Excel, right? So for example, we will discuss that in the next class. So you need to have basic knowledge on the data, how you store it. Okay, so that also we will cover as part of this. And also you need to have SQL knowledge. Okay, even that will be covered as part of this. Okay, so what I would want to say is, so this course will be covered from the basic, starting from basic. Okay, so and one more thing, right? So here you are using various database platforms, like you have Oracle, Teradata, and Snowflake. Okay, so as part of this course, we are also using Oracle, and we are also using Snowflake, we are also using IICS, and also we also deal with the files. Okay, but if you ask me whether do you need to learn Oracle and Snowflake both, okay, so I know some of them doesn't have knowledge on both Oracle, but still whatever the queries, whatever the table creation, data manipulation, whatever we do it in Snowflake, okay, so that is very like almost same even for Oracle also. So because so for both of them, right, if you want to talk to any of this data storage platform, right, you need a language called SQL, structured query language. So that is same, almost like 90% is same to create the tables, to store the data, to manipulate the data. For all of those things will not change from both of this perspective. Okay, if I'm talking about any table creation, anything, right, so you can use the same syntaxes to create tables on Oracle database as well. Okay, that will not change. Okay.
Just on the small doubt, it's a star schema and Snowflake schema in Power Center, right? It's a like that only. It's a different.
No, it's a no. That's a different. That is a concept, part of data warehouse. But this is a software. I mean, one of the data platform is named as a Snowflake as a software.
Okay.
So that's a different terminology. Okay, that is from the data warehouse perspective. Yeah. Okay, this is a software. So for you to, so since we are going with this mainly, right, cloud, so what I'll do is I have a table in Oracle database. Okay, so assume that there is a table in the Oracle database, and let me see how I can use Informatica Cloud to load the data into Snowflake database. This is just a demo. Okay, I'm not expecting you to understand data, I mean, very low level. So because I just wanted to show you like how the interface look like from both Informatica Cloud and also the Snowflake perspective. Okay, because so this is just demo, right? I just want to show you how the interface look like. That's all. Okay, I'm not expecting you to learn more about in this class itself. Okay, so let me show you a table in Oracle database. Okay, so for you to connect to Oracle database, you need to install some softwares. I can share you all of those details. Okay, so there is a table, so which is employee. Okay, so this is an employee table, which is there in Oracle database. Okay, so there are some employee details. Okay, what I want to do is I want to process this data into Snowflake. So Snowflake is a cloud, right? So you see, I'm accessing. See, this Oracle is an on-premise technology. So where you need to install the software in your local system, but it doesn't require any internet or nothing. Okay, for you to for you to handle Oracle, right? You don't need any internet. But if you want to connect to Snowflake, right? So you need to have an internet. Okay, because Snowflake or Informatica, both will be accessed through your browser itself. Okay, because you are not maintaining anything, software installation, nothing you are going to do for these technologies. Okay, so you will have to create a trial account. Okay, and so there you will have to start using, you will have to write queries and building the mappings and everything. Okay, so so this also we will be covering, like how to create a Informatica account and how to create Snowflake account. Okay, so for now, I have a table in Snowflake. So in this table, there is no data. So if I see, look at this itself, right? So if I want to access the data from from Snowflake, so I'm writing same queries. So this is my target. Okay, there is a data already. So let me truncate, let me remove the data. Okay. So in my Oracle, there is a data. Okay, but if I look at in Snowflake, there is no data. Okay, now I want to move the data which is there inside the Oracle. I want to move it into Snowflake in this table. Okay, so let me create a mapping. Okay, so and again, like let's not worry about how to create these tables and everything. Okay, because it will be covered anyways, right? So now I'll go to Informatica Cloud. And let me create. Let me log in. So this is the Informatica web browser link. Okay, so I'll let you know how to create this link and everything. Okay. So as long as you open Informatica, right, you will be able to see a lot of services where Informatica Corporation is providing. Okay, so Informatica is a product which is provided by the Informatica Corporation. So that is one of the organization, and Snowflake is also one of the organization. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm going to create a Informatica task. Okay, that will take care of moving the data from Oracle to Snowflake. So when here you can go to new, click on mapping, create. Okay, so as long as you click on the mapping, right, you see there is a source, okay, and there is a target. Okay, so here you will have to configure. This is an integration platform given as a service, okay, where you are going to use this platform for mapping your data from source to target, which means your Oracle to your Snowflake. So your source will be your Oracle and your target will be your Snowflake. So as long as you click on mapping, right? Okay, so it is giving you source and target, but how this mapping knows that this source has to pick up the data from Oracle and this target has to pick up the data from, load the data into Snowflake. Okay, that configuration is not done over here. Okay, so when you click on source and if you go to source here, okay, so there you see, so there are connections are created already for Oracle. There is one connection for Snowflake, one connection is created. So as long as I select this connection, right? Okay, so when you click on select here.
Just one a small doubt for here.
Yeah.
So before in Power Center, we need to connections. We need to only be given that, right? So here also need to give connections or automatically it will be cloud?
We need to create connections here.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I can go in detail about it because I just wanted to show how the interface look like. Okay, but when we start with Informatica, right? So we can go in detail like how, what is source, what is target, and how the connection can be created. Okay. So if I select this connection, okay, if I click on view, okay, so right now you see this is connected to the configuration details that you see over here. It is connected to Oracle. Okay, inside the Oracle, you may be having you are using the username, it is using the username and password as sales, okay, and the schema as sales, okay. So I mean, like, so which is nothing but like it is your source is connected to your Oracle, and when you click on this select, okay, so whatever the table, so you need to access the data from this table, right, employee. So how do you want to see that table? So you can just search it here, okay, you will be able to see whatever your tables are, whatever the tables are exist in your Oracle database will be able to see here, okay, click on that, okay. Now your source is configured to your employee, okay. So you are reading the data from employee, and now you need to load the data into Snowflake, right? So click on target, okay. So here you can select the connection, which is Snowflake, select, okay. So in Snowflake itself, so whatever you created, the table that you have created, right? So you'll be able to see here, you can just search for that table here. So table name is employees, right? Okay. So your source is configured to Oracle, your target is configured to Snowflake. If you click on this, you can see this is connected to your Snowflake account. So the way you see this Snowflake account exists, right? See, this is the account name, Snowflake account name. So this is the one which is configured in your connection. If you look at this is the account. So as long as you run this mapping, it will connect to this link, this account, and it will look for this table, and it will load the data into that. Okay. Now I'm just closing this. So let me save this. Okay, but one more thing is, so you configure your source and target, okay? But in Snowflake, in Oracle, if you look at, you have columns. So these are columns, employee ID, first name, last name, email, and everything, right? How are you going to map this? So you need to make sure this employee ID is mapped to this employee ID in Snowflake. So the column, the data from the column is exactly matched to the respective column in target, right? So how do you make sure that? So for that, what you will have to do is, if you click on target and if you go to field mapping, okay, there is an option. So on the left hand side, you will see the columns what you are getting from source. On the right hand side, you'll see the columns what you have it in a Snowflake. Okay, you can just map it these things. Okay, so from source, you are taking employee and mapping to target employee ID. So likewise, you can do all the columns map. Okay, so if you don't want to do one by one, you have an option where you can do all at once, exact field name. Okay, you can say all of them are mapped at once. Okay, and save this and run and see if you are able to process the data from Oracle to Snowflake. So now I have saved this mapping and I'm running it. Okay, so while running, you need to configure the secure agent. Okay, so even that is part of, so everything will be covered. Let's not worry about it. So my secure agent is this. I'm running that task now. So when you click on my jobs, you'll be able to see your mapping, whatever you created, which is running. So which means your data is getting processed from source to target. Okay, so let's keep refresh this and you will be able to see the latest status of the mapping that you are running. So if I click on this, right, if you basically look at in your source, there are like 107 records, 107 records, right? Now the way your source is reading the data, so it is reading 107 records from your source table. And let's see, let's keep refresh this and see how many records it is going to load it into target. It is still running, it is still processing to target. Okay, so total 107 records were loaded into target. Now go to Snowflake and see your data is being loaded or not. See, all of the data which is there in Oracle has been moved into your Snowflake. Okay. So this is how the mappings has to be created. And again, like this is just a demo, okay, where I'm not expecting you to learn more from this. Okay, so and this is how the interface look like for both ETL, Informatica, and also Snowflake. And this is how Oracle look like. Okay, so let me pause here for some time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
It's a small doubt, Jashwant. Here we need to create any task for like that or anything. It will be created on Snowflake.
Yeah. Task, you mean like how we create session in Informatica?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you don't need to do that. I mean, you need to create a task for sure.
Okay.
But if you want to test your mapping and everything, right, you really don't need to create a task to run your mapping. You can directly run the mapping. Okay, but at the end of the day, you need to create a task if you want to schedule your jobs or if you want to parameterize all those things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to leave rest of the time for you to ask some questions if you have any doubts. Okay, so starting from tomorrow, right?